We're going to talk about the drained feeling though. When I feel drained by either a task I really hate doing, called BAS, or by people that might just want more of me than I can give, I kind of have this image that I've got holes in me and like all my energy is draining out, a bit like this bucket here with the water draining out. And as literal as it might sound, what I started to do was realise that maybe if we thought of our bodies as vessels, as buckets, it might be easier to understand how we handle energy. Let's look at the low energy and negatively charged water. So when your bucket's empty and what it's got in it isn't real good. I call that the reflective mode. You're low energy, you've got a negative attitude, you're unhappy. If you're around people like that, they look withdrawn and unresponsive. They're unable to complete tasks and they're fatigued. Often, that leads to feeling quite sick or feeling depressed. The other of the low energy quadrants is what I call the recuperative quadrant. This is kind of when you've got low energy, but you're still fairly happy. You see kids like this all the time. They just don't really want to do much. They want to be entertained, they want to be amused. They're a bit bored and therefore that can be quite mischievous. They're literally looking for you to entertain them. They want something to get their energy back up. The third quadrant is the deconstructive quadrant. This is high energy, but the stuff in the bucket's not real good. It's negatively charged. So this is someone who becomes angry and critical, but they've got lots of power and energy. They're not like the guy that's feeling really weak and tired. They're highly critical, they usually have low empathy, and you can tell them because they go around telling everyone what's wrong with everything, because they're right. And finally, we've got the fourth quadrant, which I call the constructive quadrant. It's a high energy, positively charged state. Now these aren't personalities, because every personality will experience each of these states at some point. And some of us flit around all of them, or might have preferences for one or two of these states. The constructive state is high energy but positively charged. People feel cheerful, they're creative, they participate, and they're able to complete tasks well, and we like being around them. Why? Because their DNA is broadcasting nice stuff at us. So they're the four quadrants. What will make our buckets full and full of good stuff? And it all comes down to a thing that I like to call energetic health. So energetic health is about our physical health, our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Now by spiritual I don't mean religious, I mean whatever you believe in. Having all of those things in a good state means that our bucket is full of energy and the energy that's in it is good. So let's have a look at what helps that energy to function in that way. I think it's probably common sense to say that when we eat well, we feel better. There's too many calories, not enough nutrition. You feel sluggish, your body hasn't got what it's needed, but you've just put an extra kilo on your hips or your bum. Kids that don't eat breakfast, they fade by late morning. Another one of the factors that's important is exercise, and lots of studies have shown that exercise is really beneficial for both children who bully to manage their emotions and their extra energy and to learn control, as well as for children who are bullied to gain self-esteem and a sense of their body being able to function well for them. So it helps them with resilience and it helps children to manage aggression. The third key principle is attitude management. So this is about all of the stuff that we put into here and into here. It's about the things we watch, the music we listen to, the movies that we're exposed to, the computer games that the children play. It's about the thoughts that we think. And they say the average healthy person thinks 1,000 nasty thoughts about themselves a day. So what are the not healthy ones thinking? You know what's worse? When you as a parent say some of those things you're thinking about yourself out loud and your children hear them. So one of the greatest skills that we can learn as an adult is to not express negativity verbally or through our body language. Which leads me to key principle number 4, and this is all about the value and the purpose in life. And the teachers earlier, Graham and John, all talked about values education. And it's a very important push because without values, we're kind of flapping about in the breeze and could be pushed any which way. So values and having these kinds of conversations, and this is not a prescriptive list, you can make any list up to help children and help young adults decide what their purpose and their values are, to have the conversation. Now, purpose lists can be done as a group. They're called a mission statement or a vision statement in the workplace. But however you do them, whether it's a class vision or a workplace vision or a team vision, make sure that everyone gets to contribute. Remember the different personality types? Give the introverts time. They just want to think about it for a little while before they speak. Don't rush them. Let everyone contribute their ideas so that everyone buys into that vision, and if they buy in, they'll uphold it. But if their suggestions are ridiculed, well, they won't buy in and they'll probably act against it. Understanding that we're all going to be in some of these modes some of the time, okay? We're not always going to be able to stay highly constructive. There are going to be things that happen in our lives where we drop into a less productive state, or even a state that makes us a bit aggressive, and having strategies to manage that for ourselves and strategies to manage it for the children that are in our care. So how does this work? Well, in looking at personalities that are more at risk of bullying when they're in that deconstructive state, we're looking for the personalities that extrovert, because they're the ones that are going to be more likely to have the confidence to say what they're thinking out loud. An introvert might think unkind things, but they generally refrain from saying them. And so who is at risk of that? It's the choleric or the sanguine personality. So the leader personality and the look at me personality, okay? Now, children in the constructive state are generally at quite low risk of bullying because their high energy and their positive attitude is like a shield around them. So keeping our children in that state gives them extra ability to be resilient because more of their DNA is switched on. It's kind of like other people's attitude bounces off them. However, the child in that low energy, negatively charged state is in the opposite position, very likely to be very affected. I've talked a lot about us as role models, and I really think that that's a big part of the missing piece. If we can demonstrate empathy, we're almost there. If we can demonstrate being a great role model, if we can demonstrate handling our aggression and our negative emotions when they come up, and they will come up because none of us are perfect, we all have crap days, we all lose our tempers. We might show that in different ways, but if we can start to manage how we do that, isn't that a fantastic example to our children? So I want to finish off tonight by just inviting you to take hold of what I've said, to have the research in the back of your mind and understand that this stuff is real and that we can make a difference and leave here radiating something better, radiating something that says empathy, compassion and values. So I want to invite you to create your very own revolution and change the way that our community handles bullying. Thank you.